Alright, here we are with the MinMaker Mark III. This is essentially a station on a rocket. And here we have, I think it's essentially the same rocket we used before. Maybe it's bigger, I can't remember. We have our fairing here, and this is our lander section. Because we're not going to be making it back to Kerbal, we don't have to have much fuel. We just have to have enough fuel for us to land. So we have enough fuel for us to land. A couple of these engines here is going to be more than enough to slow our descent. We have a couple of landing gear, and we have a bunch of science inside this bay here. We have 2 hitchhiker containers, which can hold 10 Kerbals total, and we have a cupola on the very tippy top, so they can have a beautiful view of whatever they want. And that's also our command and control section. We have to have a docking port on here, so there's our docking port. That's about it. All of this has IVA, so we can actually take a look at what it looks like inside the cupola, what it looks like inside of the hitchhiker containers. Speaking of which, we should probably go back to... We're going to save this. We're going to go back to the Kerbal Recruitment Center and get some more Kerbals to go along with us, because I don't believe we have many. We're going to get a whole bunch of... Let's see here. Scientist. Engineer. Engineer. We need a pilot, so there we go, and we'll get another engineer. That sounds good. And I'm going to close and see if we can get some new pilot. Nope, I guess that's all we're going to have. Alright, oh yeah, that's right, we can only have so many of them. But we have to have 9 Kerbals on our station. And because I made it with a little bit of extra room... Wow, this is a really odd looking rocket. It's very, very top heavy by the looks of it. Anyhow, because there's 9 Kerbals, I wanted to have a little extra room so they have some breathing space while they're stuck up there for all of eternity. Well, maybe they're not going to be stuck up for all of eternity, but Jeb is not going to be piloting it. Let's bring along all of our guys here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should we have Valentina go up there? I think we should. Hitchhiker storage hitchhiker storage containers can only carry 4, so I thought they could carry 5. So we'll actually be right at our limit because the cupola can carry 1 and these guys can carry 2 each. I'm gonna see if we can get some more Kerbals going along with us. If not, we're just gonna recruit these guys. Okay, we'll recruit these guys. And we needed a pilot anyways, so we might as well grab those guys. Crew, let's grab Sean Man Kerman. He's going to be our pilot. There you go, Sean Man. You're going to be our pilot. You've never flown anything before, but now you have to fly this gigantic-ass space station. Good luck. Alright, we're going to save this. Now we're going to make a probe to go to Ike, which is going to be a little bit more challenging because not only do we have to get in orbit around Ike, we have to land on Ike and transmit data from both from the surface of Ike and from orbit around Ike, from space around Ike. So let's actually exit this. We're going to take a look at our station tracking area so we can take a look at Ike, because let's zoom on out. We have to be at the right phase angle to launch. I believe the phase angle, oh, it's actually almost perfect right now if I'm not mistaken. It has to be like, actually no, we might have to wait a little bit because I believe it's 60 or 80 degrees, 60 to 80 degrees is the perfect angle to launch, and then we'll get a perfect intercept somewhere around there because we're traveling faster than Duna right now. So we will catch up with Duna and Ike on the intercept. So we'll have to launch when we are technically behind it, but we'll catch up with it. I have to look up the exact phase angle to launch at, but when we figure that out, we can launch and get around Duna. And around Duna, this little beautiful planet, which we want to land on eventually, but Ike is this guy right here, if I'm not mistaken. Hello? Yep, that's Ike. It's kind of a little clumpy little ball. It's a little bit bigger than Minmus, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty hard to land on because it has a relatively... I think it has relatively high gravity compared to Minmus. And when we're traveling from our intercept orbit from Kerbal, we are going really, really, really fast. So in order to slow down and get captured by Ike's gravity, we have to use a lot of fuel. Which is another reason why we're not going to be coming back, and it's just going to be a little probe. But that's the way NASA and the Russian Space Agency does stuff like that. I mean, before NASA went to the moon, Russia landed on the moon with rovers. So I suppose we'll land on Ike with rovers first. And, well, if we ever make it to Mars, well, we landed on Mars with rovers first. So I guess that's the way to do it properly. So let us try to make some sort of rocket that has the ability to put a rover around Ike. So, alright then. Alright, here we have the Ike EA Mark 1. We have both a satellite on the top. We have a rover on the bottom with the little lander here. Has a decoupler so that when it lands, it can decouple. This top can go flying off. And because this is a probe body, when we decouple from the satellite, our satellite's our main command and control area. We'll actually be able to control this whole entire thing because of the probe body. And then once we decouple this will just go flying off, and we'll have our probe that has all sorts of science. That's kind of covered up by the decoupler right now. It has pretty much everything. Let's take a look. It has the thermometer, the atmospheric thingy-mabobber. We have the seismic accelerometer. We have the communitron right there. We also have the pressure mat barometer, and we have 2 solar panels on the side. And on our satellite right here, we have, let's zoom up, we have a little bit of a fuel tank so we can adjust our orbits if we need to. We have 2 batteries, we have a thermometer, a goo container. Oh yeah, there's a goo container on there too, if I didn't say that. We also have the surface scanning module, which helps us determine where different biomes are, which is very useful if we want to get all the maximum science that we can with this little rover down here. Granted, we can't really reset our experiments, but we still can do several experiments with thermometers and stuff don't need to be reset, as well as accelerometers and barometers, if I'm not mistaken. The goo container would need to be reset, and I think that's it, really. So we're just using the base of our rocket that got us to min-miss. It should have more than enough delta V to do that. Also, I threw on a bigger SAS so that we can move this whole entire thing around, because the SAS on the probe bodies are pretty much non-existent when you're lugging around this much fuel. So, without further ado, we're not actually going to launch this one right now. We're going to launch the other one. Once we get to min-miss, then we are going to launch the Ike EA Mark 1. So the MinMaker Mark 3, was it? I believe it was the MinMaker Mark 3. Load. Is it this one? Let's go on up. Yup, it's the MinMaker Mark 3. Alright, well, let's see what time of day or night it is. If it's daytime, I think we'll launch. And we're going to forego most of the launch because we've done launches like this before. Nothing too special, you know, general gravity burn. Except Jebediah is not supposed to be on this mission, so recover the vessel, and we're gonna launch it with the correct people on board. I thought I had the correct people all set up to do this, but apparently it defaulted, unfortunately. So go to the VAB. Let's switch out our people. And then I'll probably meet you guys in space, maybe. Well, let's go to the crew. Yeah, didn't want him in here, so we want Wenderud, Kerman, and all of these guys. There we go. That's a total of 9. That's all we need. And launch. I'm gonna wait until daytime before we hit that space bar, though. It makes things a little bit easier when you can see what you're doing, I suppose. However, I do want to see what it looks like inside of the cupola. Well, it doesn't look like much because of the fairing in the way, but the cupola does have quite a good view. And then behind us is a little, I don't know what you want to call it. Ooh, we can actually like move the entire station. That's not good. Alright. That means it's going to be very, very wobbly on the launch pad. See what it looks like inside of the hitchhiker containers. Hey, it's a party in here. Look at everybody. Food, not food. Refuse, trash, rubbish, junk. So many similes. And space. Yes, we do need to know that that's space. So there's the little docking door that you can transfer crew from one compartment to the other, which is kind of a nice thing about these station components, is you can transfer crew from one area to another without actually doing an EVA, kind of like you'd be able to do really in a space station. So, well, enough dawdling. Let's wait until it comes daytime out. Isn't that cool how the night rotates around us? Or rather, we rotate around it. Alright. And I think we can safely hit our SAS and launch. Make sure, oh, we gotta make sure our staging's right. Staging's right, that's right. Okay, I think we're all set. I'll see you guys on the other side. Alright, and we are in a solid proper orbit. We actually did really, really well as far as fuel is concerned, because we did a pretty good gravity burn. And so we have a significant amount of fuel left here. This will hopefully help us land as well, because I just realized this is going to be pretty heavy. I'm not sure if this little tiny bit of fuel is going to do the trick. Granted, it is min-miss, so it's not going to be that heavy, so, or that much gravity, therefore not much delta V, so on and so forth, etc., whatnot, and things. Alright, let's take a look at our map. Okay, so it looks like actually it did burn a bit too much. Where is min-miss? So we're going to want to burn right about here. It's a really bad part, or bad place in our apo-apps to burn, but I think this is what we're going to have to do, so we... Oh, looks like we're going to have an intercept if we do this. Just right. Oh, there we go. Is that the mun? No, that is the mun. That's not what we want. We want min-miss. Nothing? Let's make sure we're... Oh, we're not even close to being there yet. Oh, now we are. Alright, now we need to see what is our inclination. We need to bring ourselves down a little bit. Too much. Well, you know what? I'm going to futz with these things a little bit until we can get ourselves in a proper intercept with min-miss. So I'll see you guys back in a bit. Alright, well, I got a fairly proper encounter. It looks like we're actually going to smack right into min-miss. So that's actually going to be really easy for us to land then, because, well, we don't even have to do adjustment burns or anything. We're just going to go straight there. And because we're reaching there pretty close to our apo-apps, we're not going to be going that fast either. So onwards and upwards. Actually, before we do that, I need to deploy my solar panels, which I did bring, did I? Yes, I did. I did bring solar panels. Make sure, yeah, our power is running kind of low after that. So, yeah. Hello, Moon. Where's Kerbin? Goodbye, Kerbin. And let's say hello to min-miss. Warp here. And I better be prepared to slow down in case the warp maneuver doesn't work like last time. Yeah, as you can see, our velocity is shrinking really slow, and by the time we get here, we're probably going to be going less than 100 meters per second. So let's warp here instead. Actually, no, we're going to have a periapse. It's just going to be really low. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be going, like, extremely slow. So let us speed up just a wee bit. Okay, ooh, don't want to go too fast, because we are going to be, I think, with a periapse of 5,000 meters, we could smack into the surface anyways, because, as we know, there are mountains and stuff on min-miss. In fact, it's actually going to be a pretty nice, not orbit, but Yeah, we're going to be landing on the dark side. I don't really like that very much. I don't know if I brought lights. Let's make sure I did bring lights. In fact, let's slow down a little bit. Did I bring lights? No. No lights. So, landing on the dark side, probably not a good idea. There's the moon. Where's Minmus? There it is. I'm going to actually zoom in. I'm going to set... we're going to switch to that. Whoop, did I accidentally switch to that? Whoops, not what I meant to do. I meant to set this guy as target so I can zoom in and see... Is my periapse going to actually intercept the... doesn't look like it will intercept any mountain ranges, so... We might actually do a retro burn. Okay, where are you, spacecraft? We're gonna switch to you now. Switch to. Alright. Now let's go back to the map. We are gonna be doing a full retro burn here. How much delta V are we gonna be using? Quite a lot by the looks of it. There we go. And then we'll land somewhere on the bright side, hopefully. So how much delta V are we going to be using? Not too much. We still have a lot of delta V left in that stage. So, alright then. Let's warp here. And I'm going to be prepared to slow down in case it doesn't slow down for us. In fact, I might actually want to move my maneuver node a little over here so that our altitude and the periapse would be higher in case we didn't make it around for a second run, because I don't want to land on mountains and stuff. That doesn't sound fun. Well, let's zoom in a little bit closer. No, I don't want to warp to next maneuver because that didn't work last time. Warp here. That seems to work though. Okay. There we go. Let's get out of our map mode. We need to go into our retrograde. Unfortunately, even with SAS, because this isn't a command pod, we don't have the ability to burn retrograde. Also, our pilot is pretty awful, so that has something to do with it as well. And right about on the target marker. Okay, good. And... yeah, oh wow, we are really close to Minmus. We are really, really close. We're just skimming along the surface right now. We're about at our periapse. I'm afraid that if we burn, we're actually going to hit one of these mountains. But we need to burn. Estimated burn time is non-existent. That doesn't seem right. I'm sure we have some sort of burn time that we need to do. Probably going to be 15 seconds worth of burn. Alright. In fact, I burned a little bit too early, so I'm going to really, really ease up on that. And I'm going to see if I can keep this retrograde marker right there. And good. Enough. How is our apple apps looking? Our applesauce is looking great. So let's warp here. Whee! Actually, we can't really go very fast when we're this close to the surface, but actually I'm going to slow down in case I see some good landing location. Any good landing locations in the vicinity? I don't see them. We could land on that big flat plateau up there, perhaps. I'm sure there'd be good science to be had. Alright. Otherwise, there's really not much on this side. We could land here. That actually is probably a better idea. We're going to try to land in that location. So we're going to go here, add maneuver, just see how much delta V is going to require. Ooh, way too much. Way too much of a burn. There we go. Maybe even burn a little anti-normal to get it there. Right smack in the center. Oh, barely any change in velocity is required, so we're going to go to our maneuver node and wait. We have 21 minutes. Take a look at our electricity and stuff. We're still doing fine. And as far as this goes, we just need to land our outpost and we're going to complete that mission. And it's swinging around. Wendrud Kerman does not look too pleased. And let's stop it there. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. And the burn time is probably going to be less than 5 seconds. So let's warp to the maneuver. It's going to be coming up very shortly. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, there we go. We're just about there. Alright. Keep the SAS right locked on. And just about now would be a good time to burn. Ooh, and perfect. Let's see, where are we estimated to land? That's going to be fine. Fine indeed. So let's warp until we're a wee bit closer. Warp here. And then we can start our descent. Well, we're already starting our descents, I guess. And the reason I'm having us burn a little bit long is because, well, we slow down and we're going to reduce our trajectory. So we might land somewhere in the middle, hopefully. All right. All right, time warp complete. And we are very, very, very much over the surface of this area here. I should have put RCS on here. That's what I should have done. Let's try to flip this guy over. Oh man, this is big. All right, well, we're not coming down that fast, so we have more than enough time to change our trajectory. Also, I should probably put out my gear pretty soon. And let's get right on that retrograde marker. Wow, this is big and heavy. I can't wait to get rid of this, because then we're going to be able to maneuver so much nicer. Because these engines also have gimbaling, so that's very nice. Very nice indeed. And we're almost on the marker. Almost on the marker. Perfect. All right, I'm going to start slowing down. Something seems off balance, but we should be balanced enough to land, I hope. There we go. Let's put down the gear just in case. All right, there we go. And we are slowing down our velocity. It would be nice to know what our horizontal and lateral velocity are. Horizontal and vertical velocity, rather. Because I know our orbital velocity is that. Surface velocity is that, but we don't know what the precise amount is for each attribute, I suppose you could say. And we're getting really close. I'm going to start burning even more. As we know, the greater flats, or these flats areas, are at 0 altitude. So I'm going to see if I can't zero our horizontal velocity. I know we'll get our lateral velocity. I know we can do that by making that nav ball go to the tippy top. Okay, and we're almost there. With less than 11 meters per second, we should be able to land it either way. And, ooh, we're going to get there. And right about there. Stop. There we go. Alright. And we are falling. Let's speed up time a wee bit. And once we get down to about 10,000 meters, I'm going to start burning again. And this last stage should be enough for a suicide burn and a precision descent. Alright. Okay, whoop. He's warped past it a little bit, but not too badly. Alright. Let's just go straight on the marker right there. And... ooh, perfect. Absolutely perfect. It takes much concentration to do this. And once we get even closer, I think I'm going to start ditching this stage because it's rolling over real hard. Alright. Our surface velocity is pretty slow right now. Man, I could use some more SAS or something. That's what I get for trying to take such a big stage with me down to the surface. I guess that's something I need to do for next time, is not have such a large stage for landing. Alright, well, we're pretty much right on the money, so once we get down closer, we'll be able to do a suicide burn and then ditch this engine and then land with the proper landing fuel and whatnot. Okay, we can start to see our shadow. Alright, we are now at normal time warp. And we are slowing down. Slowing down handily. We are doing just fine. Just fine indeed. Okay, less than 1,000 meters. Might want to crank up that engine. All right, there we go. And it looks like we're losing our zero velocity on our vertical, so I'm gonna see if I can't zero that one again. No, come back here. There we go, perfect. And we are still falling. Very slowly now, but we're still falling. Okay. Much precision this takes. I don't need my RCS on. Why'd I do that? Alright, we're doing well. This is pretty tense right now. Marshall's loving it, or Marsha is loving it, rather. We are very close. In fact, we could almost land on this engine if we wanted to, but we're not going to, so let's slow down to 0. We're going to ditch this. Okay, ditch that. Goodbye. Please don't kill me when you explode. Because you will explode, right? Well, part of you exploded. Okay, good. And we have more than enough thrust to keep us from falling, and we'll have more than enough fuel, so hooray for all of those things. And don't want to burn too fast, or don't want to fall too fast. I would like to have less than a 1 meter per second touchdown. That would be so cool. So much precision it would take. Oh well, we are almost there. No, no. Don't tip, don't tip, don't tip, don't tip. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess we're gonna have to try to land this one more time. Oh man, translation is really funny right now. Okay, well, let's take a second go at that landing, shall we? Alright, that was incredibly tense. We almost made it, though. We almost made it. Okay. Now, we're not falling quite yet. We're still gently going. Oh, why do you do this? Okay. Still have plenty of fuel left. I know this is some of you are probably really frustrated. Just land already. I don't want to screw this up. Okay. Okay. All we need to do is land. Oh, don't tip. Okay, well, we're gonna tip, but we're not gonna break. We're not gonna break. We're not gonna break. Yeah, there we go. We landed on our side, but we landed. Granted, this is a really, really, really tall rocket to try to land upright, but I think we did complete our mission, right? Maintain stability for 10 seconds. All right, we did it. Perfect. And now you know what time it is. Science time. And I guess we can retract our gear. We don't need that anymore. So, observe materials bay. That's a lot of science. Let's, what other science do we have here? We have the gravioli detector. Log pressure data. Or that's the pressure data. And we didn't even break our solar panels. I'm happy about that. Observe the mystery goo. What else do we have to do? I think that's about it. So we're going to close that. And we're going to transmit the datas. Where is my transmit data thing? It's on here somewhere. Ah, also, temperature gauge. Log temperature. Keep data. And there we go. Now we're going to transmit data. Transmit all. Because these guys aren't coming home anytime soon. And we're hopefully going to get a whole bunch of science from this. And I suppose we can perhaps plant a flag as well. Actually, you know what? We're not going to plant a flag yet because we still have a mission to plant a flag on Minmus, I think. So, why not just wait to do that? Alright. Cool. And we also can reset these experiments if we wanted to. So, transmit data. Okay. And we're going to get some more data from that. And that's done. Can do a crew report. Transmit data. And EVA. I guess she just kerputted herself into the dirt. Goodbye. she died. I think. EVA. Yep, well, I guess we're not EVAing anyone until we roll around, so... IVA, perhaps? Oh, that's unfortunate. One would think it'd say that the access hatch is blocked. It used to say that if you couldn't get out, but apparently now your Kerbals just die. Okay, well, that's cool. Yay, everybody's happy that people are dying. Oh, alright, well, let's actually go back to Kerbal Space Command. So, Space Center. We're not going to be able to plant a flag on Minmus, I guess. Not without rolling over, which we could do. But let's take a look at the science that we got. We have 500 and some odd science now. So let's take a look at the rocket engines. We could get this. Not a bad idea. Those are really big engines. We could get the large fuel tanks. Not a bad idea either. Can't get the even bigger fuel tanks quite yet. Advanced Metalworks. Not so big of a thing. We also have inline clampetrons. More stuff for stations. Not a bad idea. High altitude flying. Not really concerned about that. Hypersonic flight. The aerospike engines are really quite good. So we might want to beeline those. We have these aerodynamics. We have bigger fairings and a shuttle cockpit. That's kind of cool, as well as passenger modules, which is also kind of cool. We have some monopropellant tanks. Some things for fuselages, heavy landing, essentially stuff for the shuttle. We have bigger wheels for vehicles. We have more science, which is always good. And experimental science for holding all sorts of cool stuff. We also have more scanning stuff as well. Ion propulsion, which is kind of what we need for good satellites. But we need this one. We need unmanned tech before we can get ion propulsion. And we'll also get a... well, there's just more probe bodies. Not concerned about that. And other drone thing. More electronic stuff. Fuel cells are a good thing. Rechargeable battery banks. Yeah, all that's good. But which one shall we choose? So many options. So right now we have nuclear propulsion. I don't think we have any of these big engines yet, so these big fuel tanks, not big concern right now. However, if we get these engines, then we don't have any fuel tanks for them. It's a catch-22. So what we're going to probably go with is just bigger solar arrays so that when we go farther out in the solar system, we... ooh, there's drilling. I don't know. This stuff looks pretty cool. I don't even know much about this, but it would probably be very useful because it looks like we can mine and get perhaps fuel from these things. If we have an ISRU converter and small holding tanks with a drill, we can get stuff. Also, there's the gravioli detector for science. I don't know what to do. I think we're just going to go with this because when we get further out in the solar system, the solar arrays don't work quite as well, so we need bigger ones. Alright, so there we go. I would consider that a successful mission, despite the fact that some of our guys face planted into Minmus. Anywho, next mission we're going to launch our Ike mission, so thank you folks for watching. I will see you folks next time.